What does real equality look like?
Up the inside! Gutierrez takes the lead from R.04. Oh, he's wrong!
Oh! What does real equality sound like?
Oh, massive hit!
What does real equality feel like? The first gender-equal motorsport.
Gutierrez and Taylor side by side. It's a brilliant move.
Our commitment to equality is written in stone.
Maybe the closest finish ever in Extreme E history.
And it's here to stay.
She's absolutely sending it out there.
This is equality. This is Extreme E.
We are proud to call ourselves the world's first gender-equal motorsport, and it's a very warm welcome from us to round 4 of Extreme E from Scotland.
The 2024 Hydro X Prix will take place in Dumfries and Galloway as part of our race around the globe to highlight key environmental issues facing the planet.
Part of Extreme E's mission is to raise awareness and promote solutions to climate change. And what better location to do that than a former coal mine that is being transformed into a hydropower plant.
Last year's races on this epic track produced some incredible action. And you can expect more of the same this weekend as 16 drivers go wheel to wheel in their all-electric off-road race cars.
There is total gender parity in XC as female and male drivers race on equal terms in the fight for the Extreme E Championship. I'm Jenny Gow, and alongside me in the commentary box is Andrew Coley, with Laura Winter reporting from the paddock for the Hydro X Prix.
We started the season back in February in Saudi Arabia. Jeddah was the venue, sand and rocks the surface. Our winners were Rosberg X Racing and Acciona Science.
That brings us to this weekend's action and the Hydro X Prix in Scotland. Dumfries and Galloway to be exact, and the terrain, grass, mud and gravel.
We then head down to the Mediterranean, a very familiar venue, the Island X Prix in Sardinia. 14th to the 15th of September, wildfires is the theme, dry earth and ruts, and we'll be staying down there, in fact, Jenny, for another pair of events the following weekend.
Yeah, we like it so much. We'll be back on the 21st and 22nd of September 2024.
For the final 2 rounds of the season, we will be heading across to the USA for the first time ever for Extreme E. Phoenix in Arizona. There's plenty of action still to come, so let's remind ourselves of how it has unfolded so far this year.
Extreme E returned to the deserts of Saudi Arabia for the first 2 rounds of Season 4, the Desert X Prix. With 2 new teams joining the championship, including the first ever female Saudi driver to compete, and Rallycross legend and 11 times X Games gold medalist Travis Pastrana.
Get another shot to try to beat Matthias Ekstrom, I'm in.
The drivers battled it out in the rocky and sandy terrain of Jeddah. Reigning champions Rosberg X Racing carried their Season 3 title-winning form into 2024, finishing top of the qualifying standings. Yes! Veloce Racing, Neon McLaren and Acciona Science joined them in the first grand final of the season for one of the most exciting races in Extreme E history.
An incredible line from Matthias Ekstrom comes out in super wide up the inside, trying to get all the way to the lead, and he does. Ekstrom with an unbelievable cutback. Cristina Gutierrez. Oh, contact between them. Up the inside. Hello, side by side. It's going to be enough, surely. Gutierrez takes the lead from R.04.
She's on your inside. Keep pushing, keep pushing, keep pushing.
Yes, go on, go on.
Arlen Kotlinski looking to the inside line, makes the pass back again. After an incredible battle with Gutierrez, she takes the win.
Rosberg X Racing continued to dominate on day 2, coming out as top qualifiers again to set up another grand final with Acciona Science and Andretti Ultrakilat. Veloce took the remaining spot with a quicker time in the Continental Traction Challenge than Neon McLaren. Acciona Science got the whole shot and never looked back in a sprint to the finish line.
Acciona Science get the win. We are in for a hell of a season.
Round 3 in Scotland kicked off with a bang.
Oh, it's rolled! Oh, Clara Anderson!
As the Sun Mini Meal car rounded the final corner in qualifying and Clara Anderson went flying. They did manage to rebuild that car thanks to a lot of help from other teams. But the day went to Eon Next Veloce Racing, who took the clean sweep, top qualifiers, the win and 2 extra points for the Continental Traction Challenge. They now move into the lead of the championship ahead of Acciona Science and Rosberg X Racing.
Here are the championship standings after round 3 in Scotland. That win puts Eon Next Veloce's Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor at the top of the table. Acciona Science remaining P2. Rosberg X Racing dropped from the top down to P3, but just 8 points covering those top 3 teams. Andretti Autokila at 4th. Neil McLaren Extreme E down in P5. Legacy Motor Club in 6th after their win in the redemption race. Sun Mini Meal in 7th. And in P8, it's JBXE.
3 from 3 podiums so far for Veloce, and now the big win here in Scotland for the 2nd year in a row. Molly, a brilliant start from you. I'm sure you've learnt a lot from racing to take in to round 4.
Yeah, it's been an exciting day, and to take sort of max points away from the weekend in all the qualies and Continental Traction Challenge as well, and then the win. It's a perfect start to the weekend here, but as you say, we've got another big day coming up, so now it's taking everything we've learned from today and full focus on what we've got coming up.
This is an amazing insight into your mentality, because I thought you'd come over full of beans and still really in the moment. But Kevin, you were already straight into how racing is going to go in round 4. And I guess you've got to kind of park it and then move on, haven't you? Because there is still work to do.
Yeah, well, not park like Molly in the switch room.
I'm never going to get that.
That was the last time, I promise. No, for sure.
It was enough. You still did it.
No, for sure. You have to enjoy for a second. But there is a race tomorrow, and the job is far from done. You get 1 win, which is great on home soil for the team. But there is 3 more races. Everybody's super hungry, and we like winning. That's the Veloce spirit for sure. So we got to keep working on that. Keep moving forward. Nobody's standing still. Everyone wants to get past us. So now the heavy work begins to try and find a little bit more everywhere. And I'm really excited that it's another day tomorrow, because it's such a fun track. It's a really good feeling in the car, and I think we're really having a strong package right now.
It was a pretty much perfect round 3 for you guys, so well done and best of luck heading into round 4. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Laura.
Heavy rain overnight meant that round 4 qualifying in Scotland got underway in very slippery conditions indeed. It was all the men to line up in the first race. This was Kevin Hansen versus Patrick O'Donovan up the hill. Patrick gave Kevin the squeeze and Kevin knocked a flag down. You can see what the visibility was like. Hansen then cut across the grass, found some brilliant traction to make a pass. And in a moment you'll ride on board with Patrick, and that's what it looks like when you get roosted by the car in front. An absolute nightmare for the double British Rallycross champion on his Extreme E debut. Nightmares also for Scheider as he locked his wheels up and took a flag down as well. These are some of the best off-road drivers in the world, so that should give you an indicator of just how slippery it was during Q1. The males handed over to their female counterparts a couple of punctures for some of the teams to deal with, but Amanda Sorensen doubled her lead from 6 to 12 seconds. A brilliant win for her and Baccarat and JBXE. On to race 2, this time all the female drivers starting. On the outside, Laia Sands, you are here with Katie Mullings, who lost out, got to the back of the pack. Still slippery conditions. Arlen Kotlinski here moves up the inside of Mullings. Tiny bit of contact. You can see how wide Mullings slides. That's just because of how tricky it is out there. Gutierrez made this mistake down the flag, and then later in the lap she got on the handbrake and tried to straighten the car out and lost it again. She avoids the flag this time but lost 2 positions. She wasn't the only one to get a penalty, spinning the car around to come and rejoin. They handed over to the male drivers. This was Fraser McConnell knocking a flag down for Acciona Science, just got 2 sideways in the corner. RXR in a brilliant position as you see Timmy Hansen trying to pass Matthias Ekstrom. Wait for it, another flag down and another penalty. Hansen with mud on the screen, sideways for Ekstrom off the side of the track. Acciona Sainz crossed the line first, but all the penalties meant that it was Rosberg X Racing who would take the win in the second of the races. So a great drive by JBXE and RXR. At the moment, it's also Eon next for Veloce and Acciona Sainz who will make it through to the grand final. Remember, the top 4 go through to the main event and the bottom 4 will go through to the redemption race. So work to do for them in Q2.
So great action. And this is Timo Schroeder. He's looking nice and relaxed at the moment, but it's not been the most relaxing of weekends, with that car having to be rebuilt yesterday and then just not finding too much form today. It's been slightly off, and you can see them going just a bit too wide here. You can see the tracks where they're meant to go, and they've just overshot it, haven't they?
Yeah, it was so slippery out there, isn't it? And this is Katie Munnings. She, of course, is with Andretti Autokila. They've made the final today, which is a brilliant result. They actually took the checkered flag last year, and then, of course, the penalty dropped them back to P2. So can they maybe get some redemption and take the win in 2024 in Scotland? Laura Winter caught up with both Timo Schroeder and Katie Munnings earlier on.
Qualifying 2 is coming up very soon. We have 2 more races to bring you to decide our grand final and our redemption race. Katie Munnings of Andretti Autokila and Timo Schroeder of Sun Minimil alongside me. Both teams are on 6 points after qualifying 1, so a bit of work to do to get into that final, Katie. What's the mindset heading into this second race?
Yeah, as always, it's super competitive, super tough to make it to the final. The conditions are a lot slippier than they were yesterday, so it's some different challenges in there. I think visibility was a big thing for a lot of teams out there. So yeah, it's obviously trying to get out first out the first corner. Timmy's starting from the outside of the grid now. I think it's slightly better traction off the line than the middle 2, so we'll see what he can do from there. But yeah, as always, we need to get as many points as possible and hopefully a good traction challenge.
Timo, I'm sure there are some very tired heads and bodies in that garage after such an enormous rebuild of that car yesterday following Clara's crash. I'm sure she's a bit sore as well. How are you doing today heading into this second race?
Well, mentally stressed a little bit, I would say so. After yesterday was a tough day for the team and for the mechanics, especially till late night. Clara, luckily, is totally fine. A bit sore here and there, but not too bad. She is super motivated and trying to go out there and send it. Unfortunately, the morning started tough for us already, but there's some race to go, so we need a bit luck on our side, and yeah, let's hope we make it.
How will you make it through to the final, do you think? What's the secret to getting on top of this course?
I think in general what we see with the point system is you need to be in the top 2, really. And yeah, if you're in a P3 and a P1, then you really need a good traction challenge. So that's difficult because we got a really bad traction challenge, both of us that time. I couldn't see anything. It's the same for Timmy, because the mud over there is really thick, so if you're out behind, then that hinders you a lot. So it kind of all, if you get a good start, you get the lead, then you get a good traction challenge, it all flows from there. So it's tough, it's really not easy, but we'll give it everything.
Very quickly, Timo, how tough is it out there?
Totally different to yesterday, especially the second and third sector is super slippery, super muddy. So it's more predicting way early before the braking point how and why you need to turn early. But yeah, that's a challenge, and best case, you lead the pack and then you have no mud on the screen.
Oh, well, good luck. Thank you very much, both of you.
And this is the challenge when it comes to the virtual map. Let's take a look at it. Start line, obviously, and then they go into this right-hander. And that's tricky. We've seen all sorts of action over the weekend, and we'll see plenty more, I'm sure, as we go through today.
Yeah, we will, certainly. It was super slippery in Q1, but conditions have changed a little here in Scotland. I wouldn't describe it as sunny and warm, but it definitely looks a bit drier than it looked first thing this morning. So whether or not the grip levels will have changed massively, we will find out soon enough.
Continental Traction Challenge will be all important today. 2 extra points if you go the fastest combined time, man and woman. And that will maybe help someone get into the final. We'll have to watch and wait. This is a tricky course, isn't it? Let's remind you how we do this.
Extreme E is a fully electric off-road racing championship consisting of 8 world-class teams made up of 1 male and 1 female driver. In each session, both drivers will compete behind the wheel of the Odyssey 21 electric SUV with a driver changeover, the switch, halfway through. Each driver gets an Inno or hyperdrive boost in every session, and there are bonus points for the fastest team through the Continental Traction Challenge part of the course. First up, it's qualifying, where everybody races twice in a bid to finish as high as possible in the qualifying standings. Then it's time to earn some championship points. From qualifying, the bottom 4 teams go into the redemption race, while the top 4 proceed to the grand final and compete to win the Prix and lift the trophy. It's a season-long battle, 10 rounds, 1 champion.
Time to go racing. This is qualifying round 2, heat 1, and you can see Scotland is a-calling, and the cliffs and mountains and
birds. Overlook. What is going on there? That's some wild fingernails that bird's sporting.
Have you not checked yours recently?
Must have had a big night out, mustn't it? But it's yeah, it's a great course. It was very wet for Q1. It doesn't look much drier for Q2. There was heavy rain overnight. We said earlier there's actually a natural spring. Oh, there it is. I didn't even know that was coming at the top of the hill, and that runs across the track. So drivers are saying it won't ever completely dry, and I'm all here for that, Jenny, because it looked like hard work, and I don't mind putting the best drivers in the world to hard work.
Yeah, absolutely. This is the grid then. You can see it is drying down there. There's not as much standing water, but we saw very muddy conditions earlier on today, and the drivers really struggling for visibility. We had penalties all over the place. It was good fun, but I think the drivers, as you say, really had to work for it.
Yeah, they will have to work for it. It's the unprepared sections of track we're running across mud may well still be very slippery. It's as much about the grip as it is about the visibility. If you want both, you're going to want to get the whole shot.
Attention all teams, stand by for the start of Hydro Prix. Qualifying round 2, heat 1, is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
You got it. 4 teams, 8 drivers. Already in the car, Timmy Hansen in the Andretti Autokila, Clara Anderson for Sun Minerals team, Mini Meal team, sorry. Molly Taylor for the Eon Next Veloce Racing team, and then Fraser McConnell in car 55 for Acciona Science. Those are the drivers in the cars.
Yeah, and these are those that are going to take over Katie Munnings, just having a little neck stretch before she gets good to go. That's the marshal giving them the signal that the start lights will soon have their attention. You can see how they line up on the grid. That outside line looks tricky, and Andretti need a good result.
I think they all look tricky. Through.
Yeah, but P4 in particular on the outside, people haven't been making the cutback work, so can anybody make it work this time? Timmy Hansen is getting himself fired up. In our hyperdrive, most people have been using it off the line to give themselves a little boost. Molly Taylor down there, they're having a fantastic on 3 podiums in a row, and they are sitting in a good position to go through again. They're in P4, so a half-decent result will get them in. Right, here we go then, time to get Q2 underway. So everyone except Clara Anderson has used the Noah hyperdrive off the line on the inside line. Fraser McConnell's going to get to turn 1 first. Molly Taylor trying to go around the outside, but Timmy Hansen goes right the way around the outside to the inside line on the run into turn number 2. McConnell trying to go around the outside of Acciona Science. Timmy gives him a little nudge wide, but Hansen holds on. It's a great start for Andretti Autokila. That's exactly what they need. They sit 6th in the standings, and a win here is pretty much all that is going to see them go through to the final. McConnell's coming under pressure now from behind from Molly Taylor. These 3 cars running close together up the hill, but a nice, clean start.
That's exactly what Timmy Hansen would have wanted. You saw him getting himself roped up. Veloce desperately trying to get past the Acciona Science car. You can see the black and red car just clawing down and trying to get through, and Acciona Science putting a move onto the inside, but it hasn't worked against the Andretti car.
Grip levels are definitely different, Jenny. It's dried up a lot more than I thought it would. Where the mud is light, you can see there's a bit more grip, but as you saw Timmy Hansen, you get offline just a little bit out into the roost, and things are very slippery indeed. So it's not a done deal, but there's more grip than there was in Q1 by a lot as he gets sideways in the middle of that corner, just holds on.
The Hansen line is working well for both Timmy and Kevin at the moment. They've called that the Hansen line. This going on that grass and getting that extra bit of traction.
Yeah, absolutely. Kevin's made use of it a few times. Look at the dirt flying up off the tyres there, down through the right-hander, coming towards the end of the first lap. 2 laps before, of course, they change over. There's another rear shot. That's Fraser McConnell having a look up the inside of Hansen. Thought he was going to get that done. Timmy runs wide. Fraser's going to have to go the long way round. This is where Fowles passed Ekstrom last year. Hansen, though, pushes him wide. He runs McConnell off the side of the track with a little bit of contact. Timmy holding on down the hill. Fraser McConnell is piling it on here, and that's allowing Molly Taylor to get on the back of this train.
Great racing, and that's only lap 1. Another lap to go, and then they go into the switch and hand over control to their other driver. And just look, Fraser McConnell desperately trying to claw back that space and that gap. Oh, was that fair?
Fraser won't like it because Timmy's running wide. Timmy's argument might well be there wasn't any grip on the inside line, but you know,
we've seen grip on that inside line before.
We have. I mean, we'll see. If the stewards investigate it, then we'll know there might be a penalty. In the meantime, we'll keep you posted on that. They'll say McConnell won't like it, but it will fire him up to try and get past. And good defensive stuff from Timmy as well. You know, we want to see them get into it.
Absolutely, as they go up here. I think this is where the wind is at its highest, so this will dry quicker because that wind just takes away that moisture from the top layer as they go through this really treacherous section this morning. But as you say, it doesn't look as muddy. It's not flinging as much of the mud against Acciona's side as this car.
It certainly isn't. Yeah, you're right. The cars are looking a lot cleaner. When you look back, you'll still see roost fly up from the cars. Hansen now will have, they've got 1 lap under their belts, meaning they have now a better idea. Where can I brake late? Where is there some grip? That first out lap is always a bit of a recce, and I think we will definitely see teams, drivers exchanging information when they come back in. So Fraser McConnell and Timmy Hansen will both have to do that in English because they don't share the same language with their co-pilots. So be really interested if we can catch any of that at the switch. We sometimes do.
Yeah, Fraser McConnell is really trying to attack. And it's fascinating to see that defence and attack from both drivers taking it on to each other. Oh, Sun Mini Meal have gone off the course a little bit there. I'm not sure what's happened.
Clara's a long way back, Jenny. She's 36.6 seconds off the pace, so they've got some sort of a technical issue. If you look at the graphic map bottom right of your screen, you can see their little flag. They're still way up at the top of the hill as our 2 leaders come down into the switch zone. Between them is 0.805 of a second. That is very close indeed, and Molly Taylor's only 4.4 back.
You can see the bodywork just hanging off the back of that Andretti car.
Let's listen in.
Open the door. Get yourself out. No.
I was sure Timmy would pass some information across, so they'll have to do it via the radio then. Maybe here for Fraser. Perhaps they've got wise to the fact we're listening in and they don't want the other teams to know. Well, there we go, nothing between them. Fraz goes round the other side, opens the door. That's to help belt in. Kevin Hansen on the podium all 3 times. Winners yesterday with Molly Taylor and Veloce. Can they make it through to the final again?
So Katie Munnings will take the wheel. Kevin Hansen will go in. Laia Sands will go in. And Timo Scheider just coming into the switch zone, and that Sun Mini Meal team taking over from Cara Anderson.
Yeah, they're 55 back, Jenny. They've lost 20 seconds in the last third of a lap. So Sun Mini Meal are out of this one. There's the rear shot as you see Andretti leaving.
Still that bodywork just dangling a little bit.
Look at Laia, gritted teeth. Oh, she's ready for a scrap, isn't she?
Tell you what, though, they've lost a bit of time just with the closeness. They could concertina up again as they go through this switch zone and get to the racing line, but they were right up against each other as they came into the switch zone. Now there's a tiny little gap there forming.
So it's a real shame for Sun Mini Meal. They were, where were they prior to this? They were sitting in P5 and they haven't made it through to the final yet this year. Obviously yesterday's brilliant comeback story, but still not quite enough for the final. I was hopeful with them being in P5 they might get it done, but they won't this time, unfortunately. So Andretti out to keel it away. Katie Munnings launches with her Inoa Hyperdrive. Behind her, this is Laia Sands' onboard. She does not use the Inoa Hyperdrive, so she's going to hope to close down on pace and then potentially use that Hyperdrive, maybe to close that gap, but hopefully to make a pass. So if she uses it up the hill, that's the other popular point. Oh, in the background, Kevin Hansen is leaning on the Eon Veloce machine. He's really pushing hard. It's a home race for their sponsors, and we know how much they enjoyed it yesterday. There's a down flag there, Jenny. That might be from the previous lap. Yeah, car 5 dropped a waypoint. That's Kev. That's, yeah. So that would be Molly.
Number 5.
So that's the Veloce car. So Molly has downed a flag. It's noted, it says on our timing screens. So there might be a penalty yet for Veloce, and they might not make the final if that's the case. They're only sitting in P4.
Oh, look at that mud flicking up. And I tell you what, Veloce are desperate to get back on track then. That is not what they needed at this moment at all. They're 3rd at the moment. Didn't see that flag going down, but as you say, it's the stewards have noted it.
Yeah,
Car 27 under investigation as well for a dropped flag at waypoint 8. So that's the Andretti Tequila. They're leading this race at the moment. So there's time penalties aplenty. And look how close this is now. The racing is great. This is Acciona Science and Veloce trying to attack them.
Yeah, Kevin Hansen all over the back of Laya Sands. Hansen is really pushing. If he already knows about that down flag, he's going to know they're going to need every place they can get. He's going to come in hot here on Sands.
Oh.
Late on the brakes, he'll run deep into the next one. He takes out a flag as well, too late on the brakes. So he had to try something, but that's now going to be another time penalty, Jenny. Oh, he mutters to himself, he'd be frustrated to say they're 4th in the standings after Q1, 3rd in this race. Oh, and he takes another one down. Game over for me, for Veloce. That's a disaster. I don't think they're going to make the final, Jenny. The championship leaders may not make the cut here.
It's kind of reckless. He's had to do something extraordinary. And sometimes it pays off, and sometimes it doesn't. And for them, it hasn't paid off. 10-second time penalty for our leaders at the moment, Andretti Tequila.
Made the pass now. Kevin Hansen gets up the inside of Laya Sands, so now he really needs to get a wiggle on. They've got 15 seconds of penalties in theory here. I mean, this gives them a P2. Maybe it'll be enough with Sun Minimil being so far back. But he's got to gap the Acciona Science machine by a bit more to be able to make that happen.
He'll be kicking himself, won't he? Because he knows that's on him. He had to push.
The trouble is, Jenny, unfortunately, his counterpart Molly had taken a flag down on lap 2. So at that point, Kevin's going, I need to pass cars. I need to make a gap. He's then taken some more risks. So you've got a penalty coming. You then compound it because you're trying to do it. He had no choice really but to push. So both drivers will be disappointed, and they're under investigation again for waypoint drops at 23 and 26, the 2 we just saw.
I mean, yesterday was such a good day for them. They just did everything right, and today it's just not going their way at the moment. But Katie Munning's in the lead car at the moment, and she's pushing so hard. She's got purple sectors in sector 1 as well, so she's doing well out there. Look at that!
It's 10 seconds of flag, Jenny. I was thinking 5, and it's not. It's 10, so it's 30 seconds of penalties. I was just looking at the penalty for Munnings and Hansen. I'm wondering if this is actually advantage Acciona Science, because I don't think they've got any investigations for flags.
No, they haven't.
So at this point, if they stay within 10 seconds of Katie Munnings, so if Laya Sands can keep this gap, it's 7.9 at the minute to the leader. If she can stay within 10 seconds, Acciona Science might actually get this.
And that's it. Well, Andretti come over the line first.
What's the gap? What's the gap?
So Laya Sands has gone to the top of the timing screens as penalties have been imposed. Andretti moved down to 2nd place, and Kevin Hansen comes in. This was a confusing race for everybody, and you can see there, Katie's like, what's happened? Where am I? Where did I finish? She finished first on the road, but actually, when it comes to it, Acciona Science have got that.
It's what we had yesterday, isn't it, with RXR? If you remember, they crossed the line 2nd. We had Sun Mini Mills, didn't we? We had the big shunt after 20 seconds for car 5. That's on top of the 10 from earlier. So they dropped down. They're lucky, really, with Sun Mini Mills. So it's a P3 for Eon Veloce. They were sitting P4 prior to this, Jenny. What was their result in the first session? Frantically
Sun
looking
were
down
on
at
3rd
it.
place.
Yeah, I'm looking for Axia. No, sorry, what? Veloce. Veloce had a P2, but it was only enough to put them 4th because of the traction challenge. So that they might still make it with a 2nd and a 3rd. They might still make it. It may well come down to the Continental Traction Challenge. This is a complicated one.
It is. So this is the decision, and you can see the waypoints and just overshot that, lost the braking. It's really tough. He had to go all out.
Absolutely.
And why not?
Well, I love the attempted pass too. You know, we came in hot and late on the brakes, and the trouble is when the grip conditions are slippery. There's the second one. He'll have been gutted about that. But the first one, he made that brilliant pass. But by going, when you make a block pass like that, you know you're going to go deep. He knew the next corner was coming up, and that likely Laya wouldn't be able to go around him. Unfortunately, with the momentum, the weight of the car, and coming downhill, ploughed straight through the flag. To clip another one, 30 seconds of penalties. They're lucky that Sun Minimil had a tech issue.
Do you know what? This is where I don't like to be the reporter, and I don't envy Laura because she's down there and she knows she's going to have to go and have a little chat with Kevin and Molly and see how disappointed they are. And they will. They will be gutted.
They might still make it. With a second and a third, it could be enough. Let's see. We're going to go down and catch up with Fraser McConnell in the command centre. Vodafone Business Command Centre next there to the switch zone. Fraser, wow, a lot was going on in there. You guys have managed to get away with not getting any penalties. So, yeah, congratulations. It's a win.
Yeah, thank you. It's the first time I've been sweating since I've been in Scotland. You know, me and Laya went for a good one there. And, you know, we knew we had to play it safe. I was trying to give her the car in first. I managed to come in right behind Timmy in the switch zone. And, you know, Laya's a beast. I knew she was going to get the job done. Once we saw the flags being hit down by the other teams, radioed in and told her, you know, you have no risk. Let's just try to focus on the traction challenge, you know, led by Veloce. And then the 10-second penalty actually started to become a little close. So we got back on the radio and said, Laya, you know, you can relax, but not too much. So she got her act back together, and then, you know, we managed to get first a championship point, and through to the final, we couldn't be happier.
Okay, so tactics going forward, what are you going to do? Keep it clean?
Full send. I mean, what else can we do, you know? Last final here in Scotland, going to try to put the Acciona Science XC beast on the box, and yesterday we finished with a second. Hopefully we're going to get it one step higher, chug some Red Bull and go for a send.
Thank you, Fraz. Yeah, congratulations, mate. We know you've got some Scottish family up there as well, so I'm sure they're enjoying watching this. Good luck this afternoon. Right, let's take a look at the results from that last race then. Unfortunate, wasn't it, Jenny, for Sun Mini Meal in P4?
Yeah, absolutely. Tech issues for them, so they finish in 4th place. In 3rd, it was the Eon Next Veloce team with so many penalties. 2nd, Andretti Ultequila with Kevin Hansen and Katie Munnings. And then in 1st place, keeping it clean on track, doing what they needed to do, Acciona Science are the winners.
Really nicely done by them. That gives them 18 qualifying points with the 2 results from their 2 sessions. So Acciona Science are going to make their 4th final of the year. So that is an Inoa hydrogen fuel cell, and in the paddock we use it to generate electricity with which we charge the Extreme E cars. Now Extreme E means Extreme Electric. Next year though we're going Extreme H, which is Extreme Hydrogen. So the hydrogen power will be in the cars.
And you've been to see the testing of this, and it's amazing. It's a different look, it's a different sound, it's a different feel. Andrew Coley, you do a fab job. Let's have a look.
An exciting time, a full house, and certainly a moment for the series to be proud of.
It's amazing to show the car and show it's here. I've been waiting for this all year.
This is a special day because it's the first championship with hydrogen involved. I think it's really a huge task. It's a brave move, new championship, new car, really looking forward next year.
Hydrogen can be the solution to store, to carry, and to transform the whole energy system.
This is something that's so different, so unique. It's never been done before. It's probably not going to be done again.
Everyone thought they was sick on the launch, the Extreme H car, you know, and it looks very good on track as well. So we are here in Scotland at the Extreme E race, and I'm here to test the Extreme H car on the proper XE and upcoming XH track.
Yeah, so for the very first time in motor racing history, a hydrogen car will be turning laps at a venue that's been used to race at. We're focusing on doing some more development and taking the opportunity to use this layout and use some of the technology that's specific to racing, the telemetry and the TV and so on, to marry that all up to the Extreme H car and put it through its paces. Heather's been doing so much of the test programme, so for her to come here and then allied to her time driving Extreme E cars, it's a great comparison and a great back-to-back. It's also a great opportunity for the team's engineers and mechanics to take a closer look at the car.
I think it looks amazing. It's my first time seeing it, and I had the opportunity to jump inside also and play around a little bit, and I think it's cool. You can see that it's a lot of hard work that has gone into this project.
My background is single-seater racing, so I'm looking forward to have a full cage around myself and sitting right in the center.
I think everybody learned a lot from the car we are racing now. So you can see that they improve a lot of things. And we were now checking a bit the driving position, and it's exciting. I'm looking forward to race with this car next year.
I've never driven one that has hydrogen before, so excited to get into this and see what the power is going to be like. You can definitely see the drive shafts, and you know, the arms are a lot more beefy, and we'll be able to withstand what we're going to be going through. And I think the races will be able to be much more demanding and exciting.
Rosberg X Racing in a pretty decent position after the opening qualifying. Conditions, though, Johan, looking really tricky out there. What was it like to drive?
Yeah, it was tricky, but Michaela did a very, very good job. Was able to stay close to Laia on the first lap. So, yeah, I got out just behind Fraser, but yeah, it was very, very low visibility, and yeah, it got worse and worse during the run. So after the first couple of corners, I saw him take the flag out, so I decided to drop back just out of the mud and then yeah, bring the car back home.
Will you adapt your driving in any way based on what you've seen this morning, and with the view obviously to getting into the final, knowing this season how difficult it is to make it into that top four?
Yeah, I mean, it's a little bit easier position now with the heat win in the first run compared to yesterday when we had to win the heat. But at the same time, it's quite easy to go into the heat with the mindset of that you know that you have to win. Now you have to consider a little bit more the position. But yeah, I think it depends really off the start. I think the track will dry out quite quickly now in some places. Some places holds a lot more water. So. But yeah, we'll see. I'll try to make a good start, and then yeah, from there on we will see what happened. But difficult to make any changes, like personally from my side, at least in the driving, as I had so low visibility. It's difficult to feel how the car was. But we got some good feedback from Michaela, so hopefully we have tuned the car to a little bit better for the second run. But of course, also track conditions are changing, so it's all about to have a good window of operating window of the car in these conditions.
We shall see. Thank you very much, Johan. Best of luck. I'm sure it'll be full send no matter what. And Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski just alongside. Good luck to you as well, Michaela. Teams here then preparing for this second round of qualifying. All important, of course, to make it into that grand final. And if the pressure wasn't big enough going into a race day, Mattias Ekström is also celebrating his birthday today. What a way to celebrate it as well. Here in Bonnie, Scotland. Beautiful summer's day in Scotland. Mattias in a big puffer jacket and a beanie hat. Look, I know McLaren have had a tricky start so far. Sum up your feelings ahead of qualifying too.
I am having a birthday, so actually I get pretty excited to see that you look dressed up for me.
I have, yeah. Happy birthday.
Yeah, thank you very much. No, for sure we were excited after the first corner and a good start. Then I saw that she took the flag, then the excitement went down a little. And then she had a spin, and then the excitement went down a bit more. Then I went out and did my best, and in the end it's difficult in the mud in the back. So yeah, we have a proper mountain to climb now, but lane 4, you never know. I've made some surprises before, so let's see if we can pull something off again.
Yeah, you definitely have. Looking forward to it, and happy birthday. Enjoy. Thanks, Mattias.
Thank you.
Oh, nice birthday celebrations for Mattias Ekström, 46 today, and the bagpipers just in the background. Perfect Scottish birthday present and cake.
Final race of qualifying from Scotland coming up, Q2 race 2. Remember, the top 4 go through to the grand final. The bottom 4 will have to be in the redemption race. This one is quite interesting in terms of the positions. You've got the teams who are in P1 and P2 on the inside and the outside of the grid. You've got the teams that are in P7 and P8 in the standings in the middle. So lots of work to do for Neon McLaren Extreme E and Legacy Motor Club. Slightly safer for R.04 and JBXE, but slightly safer is not that safe in Extreme E terms.
Yeah, always on slippery ground, aren't you? And never quite sure when you're going to get that clean result, or when there's penalties looming, or when you've got a problem. So a lot to do for all of these cars and all of these drivers.
Here we go. Let's go racing.
Attention all teams. Stand by for the start of Hydro X Prix. Qualifying round 2, P2, is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Well, you heard it, prepare to race, and you can see the drivers in the Vodafone Command Centre just putting the finishing touches to their race suits. They will be the ones cheering on from the sidelines, frustratingly for some of them, for the first 2 laps, and then they will switch into the cars. So taking the start, RXR, it's Johan Kristoffersen. He'll be up against the birthday boy, Matthias Ekström for Neo McLaren. Then it's Gray Ledbetter in the Legacy Motor Racing Club, and then it's Amanda Sorensen for JBXE. And you can see there the group positions.
Yeah, 2 girls on the inside, 2 guys on the outside. You know how the drive, remember, one driver, every driver gets 1 use of it, 400 kilowatts. Most people using it off the start, some people saving it for a little bit of tactics.
So they're ready to go in the next 15 seconds. The countdown is on. See how her eyes are open wide, looking for that green light. And we're racing. It's the Hydro X Prix in Scotland, and you can see a great start for RXR on the outside, and on the inside of your screen, JBXE. Race, oh, and a flip for JBXE. They've gone flipping all over the start. That is an awful crash again for JBXE. Amanda Sorensen just not having control on that gravel, and has left the way clear for RXR and Johan Kristoffersen. She went full into that, but it didn't work out.
Red flag, Jenny. I'm gutted for JBXE. They were in prime position to go through. They were sitting in second in the standings with a win in their first session. And unfortunately, yeah, Sorensen's rolled in turn 1. Well, our car's going to roll back to the paddock then under the red flag, or back to the line, and the stewards will decide where we restart this from. Obviously, most importantly, we want to know that Amanda Sorensen is okay. We're going to take a look back at the incident. There she is with her teammate Andreas backwards. So she's on the inside line in the white and yellow coloured car. Gets to turn 1 in a great position, look, rotates the car and just digs in and goes over. So Johan was on her outside. I think Johan would have been inside her on the run to turn 2, Jenny, but she didn't make it to turn 2, unfortunately.
Well, that's the on board with car number 58. You can see her just losing control. Look at the inside.
It's a lot of rotation on the car. She's had to put a lot of rotation on the car because she's coming into the first corner hot, and then obviously if you're going sideways, you stand more chance of digging in. So that's the way it goes. You have to judge your risk accordingly. She bicycles for a split second, but yeah, over it goes.
They do roll them most spectacularly, don't they?
They do, I'm afraid. Shedding panels, but I say, most of all, we want to see that Amanda is okay. And there she is. She's out the car. That's great news. So we'll send her to the medical centre. She's holding her hand up there, so maybe she'll want a little checkup, I imagine. But Jenny, walking away from the car is great to see.
So we're back in the Vodafone Business Command Centre, and you can see there to the left of your screen, JBXE have cleared the building. Unfortunately for them, they will not take any part in this race, but it will be a 3-lap race.
It will be a 3-lap race, yes, and there is still a chance JBXE could make it. Because they started the original race, they will get a DNF, not a DNS, a DNS being a did not start. So a did not finish will give them 4 points. With a win in the first session, they'll be on 14. That was enough to make the final yesterday, but only via the Continental Traction Challenge. Now, after Q1, they had a great time. The problem is, in Q2, the track conditions are much faster, and we haven't had an update on those Traction Challenge times yet. So when we get that, it'll give us an idea of whether or not JBXE could still make the cut. Thumbs up, and the minute board is up, we're going to get 3 cars off for 3 laps. It'll be a lap each for these drivers, and then 2 laps for the driver who takes over at the switch zone.
So to the right of your screen, it's RXR in the black and green car. Johan Kristoffersen, you can see him at the controls. Then Matthias Ekström in the papaya orange neon McLaren car in the middle, and Gray Ledbetter for Legacy Motor Club. Black and gold on the far end of that, on the inside line. Let's see how this goes. They're all waiting, powering up. And just 10 seconds to go until the start of this race. 1 lap, and then 2 more for the other driver. And it's green lights. We go racing again, a bit of wheel spin on the right-hand side for Legacy Motor Club, but you can see R.04 going well at the beginning. I was just seeing if Neil McLaren were going to sweep him, but no, it's R.04, and Johan Kristoffersen knows that he wants the full 10 points, and he is going for this.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant start by them. Ledbetter seemed to just get sideways off the line. She went backwards. Johan went out wide, which then allows him to come through the corner with less rotation on the car. Sorensen had more. That looks like a down flag for the Neil McLaren car to me. So that might be Ekstrom tapping a flag, which will be a 10-second penalty.
Yeah, I think he just lost a bit of control of that car when he came over the hill and just took down that flag, unfortunately.
Well, they need a good result as well, Jenny, because they were sitting in P7 coming into this, so he'd have been hoping for a win, not for a down flag. So let's see what happens with it. At the moment, R.04 up front. Remember, they won their first race, so they might do what Ion Veloce did yesterday, which is a clean sweep qualifying and the top qualifier spot. Let's see.
Oh, interesting. They've used their Renault hyperdrive at the top of the hill, Ekstrom, in that Neil McLaren, just to give them an extra bit of boost. We haven't seen that being used too much, but that's the Hansen line going across the grass and trying to get some more traction into those wheels to give them a bit more of a boost.
Yeah, it certainly is. I think that's a good place to use it. We haven't seen many places on the course where we felt there was a full 4 seconds that you could exploit the 400 kilowatts for. So that's quite straight. Q1 it wouldn't have worked because it was so slippery up there. You'd have just got more wheel spin. Now it looks like it's working a bit.
I love going on board. You can see Johan Kristoffersen there was just tweaking the handbrake, full lock, opposite lock, and you can see there Leon next Veloce are at the top of the board when it comes to the traction challenge.
But JBX here at the bottom, Jenny. So we thought they might make the cut. Unfortunately, I think with 14 points, there'll be other teams on that. They're coming into the switch. The reason they're at the bottom is they didn't get a lap in this session, and everybody else has, and it's much faster than it was in Q1. So JBXE, all of the conditions going against them. It's a shame, but there we go.
10-second time penalty for car number 58 for a dropped flag. That is Matthias Ekstrom in the Neon McLaren Extreme E team. Unfortunate for them, but have a look. This is when it happened. Just going round to the right, and you can see the front end just had a little bounce, and unfortunately for them, went straight over it.
O'Donovan got the same bounce behind, so they're coming through that previous corner more committed with a bit more grip, and then boing around to the right-hand side. So Ekstrom took it down, and O'Donovan had the same moment, but the flag was down already.
Yeah, that's Ray Ledbetter in that car at the moment.
Yeah, good
but
shout.
Patrick O'Donovan is getting in that car right now, and he will go full send. He is hungry this weekend. He wants more wins. He wants more everything out there, more fastest laps.
He's got a good shot here. He's going to be some 5 seconds off the back of Cristina Gutierrez. The problem he's up against the 2 fastest females. Oh! Gutierrez, that's a bad release. That is a bad release. She's knocked the barrier down and she's hit the R.04. I'm sorry, but that will be a penalty. There's no question about it, Jenny.
We've not had that before, have we? I mean, we've had some sketchy ones, but actually to take down the barrier and then take first place, I mean...
No, there's a 10-second penalty already.
I'd take it. I'd take it all day long if it gave me a track position.
Can follow her home if she wants to. They're now going to need to watch out. I suppose the only way around this for McLaren is to edge out a 10-second lead, but I just don't think it will happen against Arlen Kotlinski.
Let's see. It's a great race.
There's going to be another penalty, unfortunately. That's, yeah.
Sloppy.
Yes, I'm afraid it is. Yeah, sometimes you've got to call it, and they've released them. They've released them when there was a car in the outside lane. Yeah, similar to other motorsports, you just can't do that. And we have seen people hit the barriers before, and we know that's a penalty, Jenny. So, shocking times for McLaren. Neil McLaren haven't had a great run here. But this, for me, is probably a little bit about Legacy Motor Club and whether Patrick O'Donovan can coast down, especially with potentially more penalties.
Yeah. Yeah, car number 6 under investigation for not respecting the race director's instructions and unsafe release. Of course, car number 6, that's Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski. They're not the ones that actually took that risk. It was Cristina Gutierrez that went straight on, and I think they'll have to look at that again.
I can't see anything that R.04 did which would do that unless they're going to investigate both cars because there was contact in there.
Maybe.
So I don't know. I mean, maybe R.04, if they've released early, it would just say switch zone infringement. So yeah, that's a strange one. I think that's the wrong car. I think they'll have 58 on there in a minute, but let's see. She's pushing hard out front. Ekstrom will be disappointed. He goes across for a chat with his old rival, Johan Kristoffersen, as Gutierrez makes a mistake. Barely clears the stream. Arlen Kotlinski comes up round the outside, trying for the pass. She's down the slippery stuff. Gutierrez does a brilliant job to get back to the grass where some grip is and hold on to the position. Arlen Mike Kotlinski's wrestling with the RXR machine. Still slippery enough out there for some big old steering inputs. And the gap back to O'Donovan is still 5.5. He's got to close down on these two and hope they get in a fight.
I think if you go offline and get pushed out into the muddy stuff that's still there, that could really bother you up.
So, yeah, same as yesterday, Jenny. We've got 4 teams on 14 if it finishes as it stands, and so it would come down to the traction challenge. So it's absolutely crucial for these drivers that they get the best possible lap, and they've all saved their Renault hyperdrive, so they're going to be looking to do that on this next lap because it could be the difference.
But take heed that Neil McLaren may well be getting a penalty, and that will change the situation. They will go down, and RXR will go, well, they can't go up much, but they'll go up.
I think
so
RXR
it might
would
change around.
I think
There's
RXR would be ahead of them at the moment.
Yes.
I think they'd be on 18. It would put them on 20. But yes, it would change where they are. But I think you'll still get 4 on 14. You won't, though, because you say if McLaren go back, they'll drop off 14. So we'll get 3 on 14. McLaren were looking like they're on the cusp of it, but not so, I think. I would be saving my Renault hyperdrive for up at the top. 30-second penalty for car 6 unsafe release. What did we miss?
I don't know, to be honest. We'll get a replay and we will tell you as soon as we know. But let's stick to what's on track. The traction challenge at the moment is Veloce out ahead with a 122.375. And out ahead on the track, it is car number 58, Cristina Gutierrez and that Neil McLaren. And she is wrestling that steering input. You can see she's just about to go over one of the jumps. There she is, nice landing. And now she's using her Noah hyperdrive as well in that McLaren. Going round 17, losing the wheel a bit. And then you can see the Legacy Motor Club just in 3rd place at the moment. Patrick O'Donovan just trying his hardest to get some of that time difference back.
Right, so we're hearing that the car in the exit lane, Jenny, has just been trying to get hold of reasons for this, has to leave space for the car on the inside. So they are saying that RXR didn't leave enough space on the left. I'm not so convinced about that personally. I think that'll get appealed, but we'll see.
Look at that.
There's a good old battle going on. O'Donovan straight past, brilliant pass by him. He moves up to P2. That's certainly going to change things. And the 30-second penalty for RXR. They had a win in the first session, Jenny. If they finish 3rd in this, they might not make the cut themselves.
Oh, fascinating times. Yeah. I haven't thought about that.
Checker flag falls. It's Neil McLaren who come over the line first for Gutierrez. We know they've got a penalty for a down flag. O'Donovan gets P2 for Legacy Motor Club. 30-second penalty for RXR, which I'm sure they will appeal, but we'll see. I'm amazed. So there we go. Look, Gray Ledbetter looking really pleased. They take the win after the penalty. So Legacy Motor Club with a win in this session are highly likely. Where were they? They've
got 14 points as well.
So this is going to come down to what the points...
I'm sorry. That was my bad. I was pushing a little bit too hard. I dug in the gravel. And I genuinely for a second thought it could have, but...
Oh, he thought he was going to shunt, didn't he? But he got it done. He's got the win. He's wide-eyed and applauding. Very pleased with himself, and rightly so. Him and Gray Ledbetter with a win, Jenny, but they were in P8. It is definitely going to come down to the Continental Traction Challenge once we've got all these points added up.
Yeah, I've got 4 teams, McLaren, Legacy, JBXC and Veloce, all on 14 points.
Let's look at this. So the RXR comes out. I'm sorry, I personally, I'm not a steward. You need to read the regs. What they're saying is they haven't given them enough room. They needed to give them more room to the left. I mean,
That's all Andrew Coley has to say about that.
Well, if the rule is they have to leave a car's width, then they have to leave a car's width. I was absolutely certain that it would be the penalty the other way, but the regs say differently, so there we go. Gray Ledbetter is in the command centre for Legacy Motor Club. Patrick O'Donovan is driving the car back, and they've taken a win. Gray, that's... I'll tell you what, we've got some stories this weekend with penalties and flags and good old Scottish rain. Do you think that's going to be enough to put you into the final? We're doing some quick maths here, but I think it's going to come down to the traction challenge times as well. But well done on the win.
I honestly have no idea after that. We just kept the car in one piece, so that was our biggest goal after having 2 flats the past 2 days. Obviously, you don't want to win by penalties, but it's part of racing, and especially it's part of this racing. So I hope Amanda's okay, I will say that.
Oh, that's nice of you to say, and we all have that same sentiment. But great, I mean, this has turned itself upside down and inside out. How are you keeping up with this all, and how do you prepare for the final?
I don't know. Patrick drove his butt off that race and did exactly what he needed to do after I only had one lap. And I don't know. Now we just have to go back to the garage and figure out where we start.
Well done, Gray. Fantastic. Look, well, fingers crossed you guys are in the final. There's Patrick. In behind. Mugs are live on air. That's great. Congratulations to both these young drivers. Youngest ever pairing in Extreme E. And for Gray Ledbetter, she went from the desert in the sand to Scotland in the rain.
Right, well, let's take you through the results of that. JBXE, unfortunate for them, did not finish the race. Sorensen going over. Third, it's RXR. Then in second place, it is Neon McLaren, and first place winners of that, unsurprisingly, Legacy MC.
Well, here are the standings then at the end of qualifying, and the top 3 teams in the championship have all made the cut. Acciona Science, RXR and Eon Next Veloce have been in every final this year, and they repeat it for round 4. They'll be joined by Andretti Autokilit, Timmy Hansen and Katie Munnings. Brilliant job by them. Look, 4 teams on 14 points, and the top 2 of those have gone through because of their times in the Continental Traction Challenge. Absolutely crucial.
So let's have a look at some of the best bits, and you can see here Acciona Science trying to take the lead, but it was actually Andretti that did it. This is the battle qualifying to Heat 1. Look at that, the conditions really difficult for all the drivers out there.
Yeah, it was Timmy Hansen, wasn't it, and Fraser McConnell. This was Kevin Hansen trying to come in late on the brakes, dropping it, making the pass, and going over that greasy mud, then downing flags. It looked like it was all going wrong, but they've made it through to the final. You know, our championship protagonists, despite the carnage around them here, I'll have to say, gutted for JBXE. They really looked like they were going to make the final. They made it twice last year, Jenny. They haven't made it once this year, and they were back on form, but that's not the way to do it, unfortunately.
Yeah, Amanda Sorensen checked out okay, but being looked after by Prix professionals, of course. And this is where Arlen Kotlinski was in the lane, and then we thought McLaren had made the mistake, but actually it was RXR that made the mistake, and Legacy went on to win.
Oh, a huge role for JBXE. You can see some of the bodywork of the car here, the work being done behind, but Amanda Sorensen, who is in the car, is okay. That's the most important thing. Talk me through it and how you're feeling right now.
Yeah, we were pushing hard. I had a hard lineup on the grid, and I knew that I was wanting to go for whole shot because, unfortunately, these races are kind of about the start. So we pushed hard, and it was kind of one of those things where it was out of my control. Immediately, right when it hooked in the rocks, I knew I was going for a ride, so I kind of held on. And but yeah, kind of bummed because a P3 would have guaranteed us a final.
Yeah, it would, and you were so close, tied on 14 points and just missing out based, of course, on the Conti Challenge. We're seeing the work being done to the car behind. Amanda, what can you tell us about the latest with the car and whether it will make the redemption race?
I actually just got back from the medics, so I'm not too sure, but the crew's working hard behind us, so we'll see.
We'll see, and look, I know there'll be a lot of frustration. Obviously, you went so big off that start. Will you change anything heading into the final with Andreas taking the start and you jumping in after, should you make it?
No, it's like a go big or go home type thing for Andreas and I. We have good energy over here, and we just continue to, coolest team in the paddock, like we like to say.
Yeah, we've definitely enjoyed the two of you together and the relationship you've so quickly gathered as well. How much have you enjoyed being back with Extreme E, albeit I know having had just a massive role, probably not the way you wanted things to finish?
Yeah, I actually love the Extreme E series. It's such a good competitive atmosphere, especially to be on the grid with all these drivers, and Andreas is such a good teammate. Our vibes this weekend have just been, overall we may have not won the race today, but we got our first heat win, so we're making good progress, and I think we won the weekend with kind of a little bit of a hiccup at the end. So we're looking forward to the next round.
Great stuff. All right, so you're in the next round, is that what you're telling us?
No.
Oh, she may be back in Sardinia. All right, thank you so much, Amanda. Look, good luck for the redemption race if you guys make it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So grid play gives us an inkling as to who will start or who will get their selection of the grid first. And you can see here, Laia Sands did all she needed to do with helping the Sun team yesterday rebuild their car, and they donated all of their water and then all of the votes, and they got first pick of the grid and chose number 4. Interesting game playing going on there. I love it.
Yeah, very much so. One of those groups is particularly slippery. It's the one that Katie Munnings is in with Timmy Hansen for Andretti Autokilid, but the dream team is Timo Scheider and Katie Munnings, thanks to these lap times. So they are the fastest male and the fastest female. Of course, they're not in... oh, look at that. Katie Munnings with a 150.13 is actually the quickest driver out there overall. So
that's a great day today
by her as well. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. Big difference across the times there is due to, of course, the slight difference in conditions between the two sessions, but nicely done. Very much looking forward to the final two races from Scotland. We have the redemption race coming up, and then, of course, we have the grand final. Can anybody become a double winner this year? We're going to find out very soon.
Welcome to the Hydro X Prix in Scotland, England. This is round 4, and what a round it's working out to be. We've got the final for you, we've got the redemption race for you, and it's all here in Dumfries and Galloway, and it's beautiful. The scenery is stunning, even though it's a former coal mine.
Yeah, absolutely stunning. They're going to turn it into a hydroelectric power plant, if you're wondering why it's the Hydro X Prix. 4 rounds out of 10. This is our 4th one. We've got 4 events coming up in Sardinia, finishing the season off down in Phoenix. This is what you've missed if you've not been watching so far. Hopefully most of you have been with us all day. Some brilliant action. It was so slippery out on track this morning after heavy rain overnight, and plenty of down flags as drivers made various mistakes, penalties. We had a couple of dodgy releases. So it's been exciting, Jenny.
It certainly has, but we shouldn't mention too many penalties in case it affects the football tonight. If you're one of the many people following the Euros, then yep.
Yeah, nobody mentioned penalties.
It's a big sporting day, exactly.
We've had all the penalties today. That was Amanda Sorensen. She paid a big penalty, I'm afraid, for a roll in turn 1. She's thankfully okay. More penalties for this RXR, not letting McLaren out. A couple of great races to come.
Our redemption race and our grand final are coming up for you very soon. The paddock, a hive of activity awaiting our final 2 races here in Scotland. And actually, just behind me, you can see the JBXE garage as well. A huge role for Amanda Sorensen in qualifying earlier on. They just missed out on making it through to the final despite that role, but we await to see if they will be ready for the redemption race. Their car currently in a few pieces. Legacy Motor Club just missed out as well on that grand final. Patrick O'Donovan, how much have you enjoyed this first weekend, not as the championship driver, but as a fully fledged Extreme E driver?
It's been amazing. It's been a complete emotional roller coaster, I'll be honest. The times weren't there in free practice, and we've just been building it block by block, and been getting there slowly. I mean, even this morning, after yesterday's redemption race win, we came in with a high. We struggled a little bit in Q1, and we had a puncture, so lost a lot of time, and I think this was really the reason we missed out on possibly making the final. But I mean, we made up for it in Q2 with we were running on smiles there, because Gray did an amazing job holding off everyone for the first few laps, with, of course, multiple DTM and World Rallycross champions behind her and in front of her and all around. So it was really cool to see. And then when we got in the car, I was hunting down Michaela and Cristina Gutierrez. I got the warning that we didn't have to overtake Cristina because she had a penalty, so we could maintain track position and try and reserve the car and not do anything too silly. But actually, as I got that call to not do anything too silly, I was midway through catching a roll. I was coming around in the last few corners and the car dug in. They were like, don't do anything silly, as I was like facing the ground, like trying to turn out, and I was like, okay, yeah, I'll probably take that into a bit of notice. But then the next lap I went round for a really nice, around the outside of Michaela. So no, I've been really happy with the pace so far, and hopefully we can bring this forward into another redemption race. We got a good starting position. We've seen that one is starting to get a good round the outside, so hopefully we can make something work in the final.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Best of luck to you in that race.
Thank you very much.
Love it. Now, time to look back at the Legacy project taking place here in Scotland to protect a species that's very important to this beautiful country. I'll give you a little guess. You need your waders on. Let's go and have a look.
We're in Dumfries and Galloway, Scotland, checking up on the salmon there. We have all the scientists with us. They're gonna be using my fish catching skills and just make sure that they're growing how they're supposed to. They're gonna be checking the temperature of the water.
The salmon are a really part of Scotland's legacy and our history. So you can trace them back to Celtic times where salmon have been engraved on stones. So they've got a really long history within our culture.
Climate change is impacting the whole globe, but it impacts different places in different ways. Here in Scotland, we're not necessarily thinking about the drought, but we are thinking about those increasing temperatures because salmon start to get stressed at about 23 degrees. This river, in May, it was already at 20 degrees.
Following on from last year's Scotland Legacy event, Extreme E partner Vodafone Business are also back to develop the technology they previously installed to help monitor the waterways.
Today in the river, we've been checking up on our sensors that we installed over a year ago now. 3 things have jumped out in this last year that we've learned. Firstly, the temperature in the water in most places is actually staying higher for longer. Secondly, the smaller tributaries are actually heating up a lot faster and hotter than we thought. And thirdly, there is actually quite a big difference between ambient temperature, something in the sun, an exposed sensor, compared to anything that is in the shade. So we're starting to see the benefits of shade in each area as it appears to the sensors, and that's helping the River Nifty team to understand how important it is to build new shade.
So now we are building and protecting the sides of the river with the sticks, with the bushes. We're tying everything together, and it's coming along really nicely.
Yeah, I love this stuff actually. I could do this all day.
It's really important that we do everything that we possibly can to make sure that they're there in our future, for our future generations.
There's multiple reasons why we should care about salmon, but I think for me it's really about this way of thinking about our planet as a whole. You know, these rivers, as amazing as they are, and we've seen their beauty, and in fact even heard the beauty of them this morning, they're not here in isolation. And I think that's a really good message, that we as humans are not in isolation. We're very much part of this connected planet.
Our redemption race is coming up very soon. Now, earlier on, Amanda Sorensen had a massive role. We've been waiting to see if JBXE will be ready for this race. And I can tell you they won't be in their original car, but the team have moved further up the paddock here and they are frantically working on the championship car. I am told by the mechanics they will be on the start line, ready to pick up some more points in that race. And they'll be racing alongside these two, Clara Anderson of Sun Mini Mill and Cristina Gutierrez of McLaren. And I feel we're having a similar conversation to yesterday, both just unlucky and just missing out. Clara, how will you look to step up in this redemption race coming up?
Yeah, hopefully keep all 4 wheels with air inside and then have power steering. I think that's a bonus. So yeah, hoping for a little bit less bad luck and that we can really just go out and drive and show our pace and just have a nice clean race to have some good feeling now going to Sardinia.
And Cristina, sum up your emotions as well, because at one point for McLaren it was looking so good, then a spin, obviously the incident in the switch zone earlier on as well.
Yeah, I think it's a question of little things that makes you to be in the redemption. Now in this type of format it's so easy to go out of the final. Just a little issue or problem, you are out. So as I said before, I want to race in a good pace now, with all the team supporting us, and I hope to take as much as point we can.
And for Matthias's birthday as well, it'd be something, wouldn't it, 12 points?
I want to give him a good present, but it was not possible at the moment. If we can give them the victory in the redemption, will be nice.
Oh, we'll see. Best of luck, Cristina. Best of luck to you, Clara. Thank you both so much for the chat. Our racing coming up very soon here in Scotland, the final of the Hydro X Prix.
Yeah, disappointment for Gutierrez. You know, P2 in Saudi Arabia at the first round. You're thinking they've signed the superstar lineup here, but she said it's small things, Jenny. Everything's got to go perfect to make it to the grand final, and even more so if you want to win. So I get it.
Yeah, I think she's such a Dakar specialist, and Matthias Ekström as well. And there's been this big break, hasn't there, between the 2 rounds. Saudi Arabia seems like a million years ago. So maybe, yeah, maybe it's just getting to grips with these cars. They're a different beast. They're a massive beast. They're great fun, but it's hard.
It is hard. Here's Clara Anderson. Clara, bless her, came here last year, didn't she? Had that massive crash. Comes back this year thinking, Scotland would be nice to me, but it wasn't, unfortunately. She's such a great driver, and I'm genuinely pleased for her that she got straight back in the car and went again, because you do start to get into your head does Scotland not like me? Scotland loves you, Clara. You're fine. It's just you've been a bit unlucky at this particular track. So hopefully all the bad luck gone and some cracking racing to come from these two.
Attention all teams, stand by for the start of the Hydro X Prix. The redemption race is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
So prepare to race. 12 points up for grabs for the winner of the redemption race. But more than that, it's about going out there and proving something to this course that has been so cantankerous. Can I use that word? It's been this mischievous. It's treated these drivers meanly.
It has, Jenny. I agree. They just haven't had the weekend that they would have liked to have had. Matthias Ekstrich's birthday today. Come on, we've got to give something more than cake, surely.
But even just think about Legacy Motor Club. They did so well to win that last round, and now here they are fighting it out in the redemption race. So it's fascinating to watch it and to see it unfold. And that's the grid, that's the lineup. The drivers are ready to go. It's Patrick O'Donovan, Timo Scheider, Cristina Gutierrez and Andreas Backerud.
It is indeed. There is Gutierrez on board the Neo McLaren having a look across at the lights. Most people have been using that in our hyperdrive off the line. Will we see the same again? There's Patrick O'Donovan. He's on the outside of the grid. Timo Scheider between him and Cristina Gutierrez. On the inside line, Andreas Backerud in a very unfamiliar liveried car. They've had to throw that together in the last couple of hours. Can they get some sort of redemption? It's the name of the race and it's the name of the game for all these drivers. Very sideways from slot number 2 and 3. Backerud gets a great start on the inside line. Patrick O'Donovan 2 on the outside line. O'Donovan going to try and come around the outside of Legacy Motor Club, but Andreas Backerud is there first. Only the barest hint of the JBXE livery on the rear clamshell of the car, but he takes the whole shot behind now. Gutierrez trying to get past O'Donovan. O'Donovan squeezed her. He put Kevin Hansen into the barrier there, but Christina's got away with it today. No flags down as I say that. They clipped the flag on the right. That's the same one that was taken down yesterday. Gutierrez got away with it. At the back, Scheider uses it Noah Hyper drive and just avoids the flag, or did he take it down? So
I don't
close.
know.
It's up, it's up.
No, it's down, it's down.
It's down. Oh.
Scheider has been having all sorts of trouble. He overshot turn 2. I don't know what's going on with that car. Oh, bicycling up on 2 wheels and just managed to get that down. Goodness gracious me, Cristina Gutierrez has nerves of steel.
That was epic. Sailing close to the wind. That was a brilliant save to react like that and just pull the car back down. You have to turn the steering out of the corner you're in. But look at this, Andreas Backerud leading for JBXE, 4 laps, 2 for him, then 2 for Amanda Sorensen. After the day that team has had, if they could get a win in this, it would be brilliant.
Especially in that championship car, so it's not the setting up that they would desire, but it's the setup that they're going to have to go with.
Now, if you're wondering what the championship car is, it's the car which is used for things like media rides. It's used for the championship drivers to go and test that the course is suitable and safe. Grip levels have come up here, Jenny. The track's dried more, and I wonder if some of the teams are still on those slightly damper settings. Scheider looks to the inside line, but he can't find a way past Gutierrez yet. 10-second penalty for Timo Scheider for that drop flag. So he took the waypoint down, he's at the back of the pack, and unfortunately that 10 seconds is going to make things very difficult indeed.
So JBXE going round for another lap. Remember, 2 laps first driver, 2 laps second driver. But look at this, Legacy Motor Club have found some pace from somewhere. They're going to try and undercut as they go up the hill. 2 of them together. Who's going to make it to the top of the hill first? They go up and they'll go left. Look at this, wait for it.
It's a great move by O'Donovan. Such good speed, Jenny, from the bottom. He teed that up from the end of the lap to put the pass on the inside.
His lap pace, well.
Yeah, his lap pace might not be where Patrick wants it, but he has proved this weekend what a great passer he is. He's put passes in every time he's been in a crucial race, so good advert for his skills. Just gets past Andreas Backerud. Backerud will want to get past. He now straightens up on the exit. Backerud looking to get through. He gets onto the rear of the Legacy Motor Club machine, but can't quite get alongside.
This is thrilling racing for the lead and for third place as well behind them. That race is still going on. You can just see the McLaren just edging in over the water jump. Legacy MC round that gate at 16. They keep the pressure on. Look at this though.
Scheider tries on the inside on that grass that we've seen so many people use to find extra traction, but it's not quite close enough to Gutierrez. At the minute, we have 2.3 seconds separating the 4 cars, and they're coming into the switch zone up the inside. The outside Scheider tried. Still can't find a way through. Gutierrez was a master yesterday at keeping the door shut with only 3 tyres on, and she's doing a great job with 4 today. Backward flings the JBXE machine from left to right. He's trying hard to get past O'Donovan as well. This is a 4-way race coming in towards the end of the lap. O'Donovan to the inside line, and I'm pretty sure that's how they're staying, unless he wants to have a crack at him down the bottom of the hill.
Tell you what,
Not
this switch zone is going to be fascinating. We've seen all sorts of tactics, penalties, and look how close JBXE have got to the back of the Legacy Motor Club. This is going to be so tight, and we know that priority goes to the person in that switch bay.
Yeah, we know
switch
now.
Bays. Yes,
we know
now from our mistakes.
So you guys know at home, it has actually changed. So it depends on the width of the switch zone as to where the priority for the car is. We thought earlier on today that it would be for the car in the exit lane, but it wasn't. This is the flag. Look, Timo Scheider. He clips this one on the left. That's the Continental flag we saw that was still up in the background. We're like, it's up, it's down.
He gets a bad bounce there as well. He couldn't really control the car because the wheels weren't on the ground, so that's almost impossible.
You know the score, Jenny, from working in F1. Whoa! You don't get that in F1.
I'd like to see it try.
Every millimetre of the track needs to be used for ultimate lap time, and that's why the drivers go so close to the flag. You'd think they leave a bit more of a gap, but they can't. They simply can't.
Yeah, so switch zone powering on. All the drivers have to be in the car and out of that switch zone. You can see the bucket of water going over for Sun Mini Mills. Legacy getting out in time. What's happening with JBXE? They seem to have got stuck on something. They're not coming out as we would expect them to.
They're climbing out the car. Andreas backwards, throwing the water over the car. The door's still up on the side of it.
The lights are going on and off. That's normally a power recycle when they do that, isn't it? Whatever's happened, it's put them out of this.
Smoke from the rear right of Legacy MC. So is that a
smoke
tyre
or
rubbing on
dust?
the body? No, it's definitely smoke.
Okay.
So JBXE have got a problem for Amanda Sorensen. There's something coming off the rear right of what the car that O'Donovan was in.
I wonder if he's got a bit of a flat or he's pushed the tyre off the rim. You can see McLaren have it in their sights, and Matthias Ekstrom wants a perfect birthday present of 12 points. And now a hyperdrive enabled.
Yeah, so Ledbetter uses hers as she gets away from the gate. Ekstrom is chasing her down. Ekstrom will be a bit no mercy here if he can get a sniff of a win, but Ledbetter, we know, was quick in Saudi Arabia. She did a good job of holding off a couple of drivers.
I wonder if it was just the rear of that, it's flapping around a bit. I wonder if it was just rubbing on the bit and causing some smoke when they get going again now. Yeah, you can see it's just flapping over the rear right wheel. So that's probably what's causing that smoke.
Yeah, the bodywork's tucked up. 7/10 of a second was the gap. He's down to 6/10 now. Ekstrom goes out wide, rotates the car very early indeed. He's going to get great exit speed here. Such a wily racer, DTM champion, World Rallycross champion. Look, now he's going to try and come alongside Ledbetter. Ledbetter's making him go round the outside. The next one's a right-hander too. Gray is doing a great job. Ekstrom keeps it lit and uses the hyperdrive to pass. That's the first time we've seen something like that today. Brilliant move from Matthias Ekstrom, but I'll tell you what, well done, Gray Ledbetter, to make a man of that class hang on that long. He really had to work for it.
And she's giving us some. She's not letting this go. She's going to stay on the back of Ekstrom and just try and push him even more. You can see she's closing that gap and over the jump. What can she do?
She's class, isn't she? I absolutely love it. You're looking at Ekstrom with so much experience from so many disciplines, and then Gray Ledbetter's come into this alongside Patrick O'Donovan this weekend, and she's going with one of the best all-rounders in the world on track. I just think it's great to see. I really do.
At 19 years old, and you can see there Patrick O'Donovan, London-born, in the command centre, and he can barely watch. Look at him.
And be like, look at that, the stress on Patrick's face.
This is worse than watching England's penalties.
Oh, it's awful, isn't it? When you're sharing a car like this, it's so hard to watch the other driver out there, but Gray doing a fantastic job.
So out in front, it's Ekstrom leading by just about 2 seconds from Ledbetter in the Legacy MC car. Behind them, it's Anderson and Sorensen in the battle for 3rd and 4th place.
So it's a big old gap, back. It's something in the region of 17 seconds. You can see on your screen, 18 seconds back to Clara Anderson here in the Sun Mini Mill machine. So they went in really close. We didn't really see what cost them so much time, did we, on the way out? We know there was an issue for JBXE. who are a further 10 seconds back, but are still circulating. The flags on the bottom right of your screen there will show you where the various cars are on track. So you can see there's only one fight in town, and that is the one at the top.
Oh, wow.
Oh, into the barriers on the outside goes Amanda Sorensen. Well, you know what? That bit of bodywork didn't match anyway. Who needs it? It's fine. Off you go.
They've had such a troublesome weekend, and they were looking so good, so comfortable together as a team, so much fun as a team, but unfortunately it's not gone their way. But look, Cristina Gutierrez watching on, her teammate Matthias Ekström in the car, and now it's a clear lead, and 12 points hopefully for them on the way.
Yeah, brilliant job by Ekström. We've not seen anyone use the Inoa hyperdrive in the place that he used it. You know, to get alongside through 3 corners, Jenny, it was beautifully teed up by him.
Absolutely. They're currently 5th in the championship. What will this do for them? They'll have to wait and see what the big race gives them, the grand finale. Inoa hyperdrive used at the moment for the Sun Mini Mill, but down the hill they come. It's a papaya orange. A win for McLaren on the cards as they come around the final turn. And through the finishing line, it is Ekström, a birthday present for him, 12 points and the redemption race win.
Great fight from Patrick O'Donovan and Gray Ledbetter for P2. Ledbetter was so impressive in that fight with Ekström. And yeah, OK, he got away in the end, but I love seeing the battle out there. Some brilliant racing. A
19-year-old who's definitely earned her stripes, and this championship is designed exactly for her.
Add up O'Donovan and Ledbetter's age, and you don't get to Matthias Ekström's birthday today. Let's put it that way. They're very
crushing.
young. I know, sorry, Matthias. He's a good lad. Happy birthday, mate. But yeah, P3 for Scheider and Anderson, and what might have been for Baccarat and Sorensen.
Shame for them when it goes technical. They're in the championship car. It just wasn't their day. Matthias Ekström raises the door, takes a deep breath. Job well done. Very well done.
Happy birthday to me, he says. So Ekström returning to the paddock. You're not going to see mega joy from him because I know what he's like. He wants to win the event. He will be happy to win the redemption race because he'd be happy to win a race up the stairs. You know, he literally he will race you in anything. He's so competitive. But him and Gutierrez will be somewhat disappointed after a brilliant start to the season. Here's the results then of the redemption race. P4 for Baccarat and Sorensen with a problem in the switch zone. Scheider and Anderson for Sun Mini Mill coming in 10 seconds ahead of them. P2 to Patrick O'Donovan, nearly said Ollie, that's his dad's name, and Gray Ledbetter after a fantastic fight. But the winners are Matthias Ekström and Cristina Gutierrez for Neon McLaren.
Let's go down to the Vodafone Business Command Centre. We've got Cristina Gutierrez lined up for us to have a chat with. It went quite well. So Cristina, amazing job, and what a battle that was. It was hard to watch, was it?
It was hard to watch and hard to drive, especially in one corner. I was super close to have a roll, and I managed to take the car in 4 wheels again, and we needed this win because this weekend it was super tough and unfair for us. So it's the best taste to finish the weekend, and to have this taste for the next race is going to be super.
Cristina, that's about as close as you get to rolling a car without rolling a car. We were like, whoa! What were you saying in the car? Like, you did so well to hold on to it.
Yeah, I can imagine your shouting, and inside of me it was the same.
We really enjoyed it.
But finally, I could. Yeah, thank you. I could manage, but sometimes it's difficult with this car, with all this weight, to manage and to put the car again in 4 wheels. Sometimes it's difficult, yeah.
So is this a good reset for you guys? I know you wanted to win the main event. You don't want to win the redemption race. You know, you started the season with that P2. It's time to get the Neon McLaren car back into the final, isn't it? I guess you can look forward now to the double header in Sardinia and hope you can carry some of this pace forward again.
Yeah, we hope also to bring this first victory to Neon McLaren. We are all together in this beautiful team, and we will give everything to finally take this victory.
And how has Scotland treated you? How have you found your time there?
Well, it's not easy. It's not easy track. There is a lot of mud. The condition of the track is changing all the time, so you need to adapt super fast to the track. And I love Scotland, and sometimes give us a little bit of mud, but it's like this. The extreme is like this, is extreme, and we need to adapt us.
Love it. Thank you so much. Great save. We think you're a legend. Well done.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
There we go. Incredible save here. If you missed it earlier on, this was Cristina Gutierrez's save in the McLaren, up on 2 wheels to the absolute limit. Stunt drivers would be proud of that.
I was going to say.
That's mid-race. It is mid-race. She did a brilliant job, and it was a great battle between with her and Matthias Ekström, you know, alongside each other in the squad. So your redemption race is done at the bottom. You can see Ekström and Gutierrez, 12 points, 8, 6 and 4 for the other finishes. But the grand final is still to come. Both the Hansen brothers are in. Look, with Kristoffersen and McConnell. Then you've got Molly Taylor, Katie Munnings, Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski and Laia Sands in the other seats. Going to be a fascinating encounter. They're the top 4 in the championship standings.
Right, let's look at the highlights from the last race. Championship car, JBXC out in front at this point. Look at Sun Mini Mill. They're going so wide at the moment. Then the race is on. McLaren versus Legacy up the hill. Sun Mini Mills just taking that flag down. Oopsie, that's a 10-second penalty. And then into the switch zone, problems for JBXC. They were a bit delayed and grounded. Smoke coming out of the back of the Legacy MC car, but once they got going, it was all good. Ray Ledbetter doing a fabulous job of defending against Matthias Ekström, but the birthday boy with so many extra years of experience, 46 versus 19 years old, managed to pip her, and I mean, the fight was on, and it was a great fight. You can see here JBXC going wide and banging into those hay bales. Who needs the back of a car? And the win, 12 points, goes to McLaren.
Let's get ready then for the final race of the weekend from Scotland. Ion Veloce, Kevin Hansen and Molly Taylor. Clean sweep yesterday. They won both their qualifying races. They got the Continental Traction Challenge as well, and they took the win. Now, it's been a little bit of a rougher ride today, but still, they're in the final and they're in the championship fight.
It was a really intense quali session, pretty tight amongst everyone. Not the best starts, but we managed to scrap through, make it to the final. Now here's where it counts. Same lineup as yesterday with the 4 quick teams, so we'll just have to prove we want it more than the others.
Next up is Andretti Ultequila. They've had a good weekend, solid, second in Q2, splashing through those puddles, and they're a class act. Katie Manning's the fastest driver of the day so far. They are on form at the moment in Scotland.
It was so great to get into the final again. Katie was super fast. We got through by being fast in the super sector, so I think we got the speed. We just have to carry that out now through the final. It's been so long since we stood on the top step of the podium. It would be nice to get that win.
Rosberg X Racing, the reigning champions, the double champions, remember, although Kristoffersen was alongside Molly Taylor for the first of those titles. They're such a wily pairing, they really are. They've been in all 4 finals as well. So there's 3 teams which made it all 4. These guys, Veloce and Acciona Science, they're in the thick of that championship battle. Perfect score in the first session, and then of course they had that coming together with Neil McLaren in the switch zone in the second one and got a 30-second penalty. So hasn't been a perfect day, but they have made the cut.
And last up is Acciona Science taking that final spot. As you've said, they've made every final so far this year. Fraser McConnell, Laia Sands teaming up. This is Carlos Sainz's team, and they will be cheering on Spain in England. Interesting. Let's see how that goes for them. They've just been in great form. They've kept themselves steady. They've kept themselves out of trouble.
I think they'll be all right if they're cheering on Spain in Scotland. I think that'll go down quite well. We'll see, won't we, later
true.
on? Yeah.
That's my slip.
Well, there are the cars lined up down on the grid, getting ready for the main event, the grand final from round 4 of Extreme E 2024. the Hydro X Prix in Scotland. Nice to get this series back on the road, or on the boat, should we say, of course, travelling around in the Santalane. There's been some beautiful wildlife up here, some fantastic legacy projects, and most importantly, I think, some great racing.
It's certainly been tense. Lots of penalties. And the setting of Dumfries and Galloway in Scotland is stunning, and it fits in with our purpose, our reason to race, all about hydro this weekend and going forward to a different way of powering that is more friendly to the environment.
Certainly, these 4 teams right at the top of their game. They're also the top 4 teams in the Continental Traction Challenge, which would give them the extra 2 points at the minute. It's Eon next Veloce who got that as well. So can they grab another 2 championship points? Could they get the win as well? There's Kevin Hansen. What a great day for them yesterday. 3 of these teams have won 1 race. Nobody has won 2 yet this season.
Attention all teams, stand by for the start of Hydro X Prix. The grand final is about to commence. Energize your systems and prepare to race.
Well, prepare to race, that is the command. That's Fraser Connell just getting himself strapped in and ready. Acciona Science, RXR. We've got Johan Christophers in there. Timmy Hansen for Andretti, just putting his helmet on now. There we go. And then Molly Taylor to the right-hand side, the only female taking the race second seat. That's an interesting decision, and probably quite a tactical decision. So, down to the grid. Acciona Science to the far left. Then you've got RXR in that brown, black and green. And then you go across to Katie Munnings in the Andretti or Tequila car. And then on the far right-hand side, you've got Eon next Veloce with Kevin Hansen in the car, the only male taking on the start.
Should be pretty fascinating, this one. 4 top teams in the championship. Yeah, no one's going to want to lose too much here in terms of points, but I know when the old red mist comes down and you're desperate to take that win, you want to be on the top step of the podium with the big trophy. It could really all kick off.
Inside or outside, which would you prefer?
The top drivers always say inside, so I've got to say that, even though I'm not a top driver. They believe that they will win the start.
An averagely good driver.
Yeah, they believe they'll win the start and get to turn 1 first, but Jenny, we've seen many times the exit speed is not always there from that tight line. So slot number 3 is really tricky. Andretti Autokila's been slippery for all day long.
Right. Let's get the start underway. It's the grand final in Scotland, the Hydro X Prix. Who will be the winner? Who will be the champion? And they react quickly. RXR still slipping away. There was that contact potentially with Sainz, but they've got a clean start on the far side. Veloce have got a clean start as well, and they take the whole shot. They're through to the second flag first. So it's Veloce with a good start. Sainz behind them, Leia Sands in that car, and RXR are using their Enoa hyperdrive already to try and gain some momentum going up that hill. They've lost out a bit, unusual for them. Katie Munnings for Andretti or Tequila at the rear.
Yeah, it wasn't a perfect start, was it, for RXR? Look at the bump up here, just kicking the rear of the car around, but a great start for Eon Veloce. So they're looking for a double win up in Scotland. I say this is their home event, if you like, for the team and for their sponsors, not for the drivers, obviously, but a double win here would be a great way to grab the advantage in the championship. They lead the standings after yesterday, and if they carry on like this, they're going to extend their lead.
So out in front, it is Kevin Hansen. Then just behind, Leia Sands, pushing all the way in the Acciona Science car. And she's going to want to try and claw back some of that advantage that Kevin has made. 2 laps round for the final, and then they hand over to the other driver for another 2 laps.
RXR are 6.2 seconds back, so something went on in the background definitely between these 2 cars. I saw Munnings got run out wide. There's a little bit of contact just on the run into turn 1. There's nothing wrong with the cars. Well, okay, Munnings' headlights are hanging out the bottom. That's not unusual.
The rear left seems quite low on that RXR. I just want another look at that point and just see if there's something going on with that car, because you say they are a long way back at the moment for them.
They're avoiding the rut on the inside here, Jenny, as well. Both the front 2 cars have slightly adjusted their line. RXR2, look at this. You see, they're just not going quite as close in as they were before. So drivers looking at track conditions, picking their line accordingly. Great stuff. Top drivers is what we expect to see.
RXR going through, and then the Andretti car going through as well, as they round down to complete their final, their first flying lap, and second flying lap is incoming. Let's have a look. Yes, they have got a puncture on the rear right of that car.
Rear left, Jenny? Yeah, rear left, the
Apologies.
RXR. It looks slightly soft. I don't know if it's gone completely down, but it does look slightly soft, doesn't it? And it's certainly leaning in as they came through the right-hander at the end of the lap. The RXR machine, we're questioning whether or not there is a slight deflation on the car. You are riding on board with, I can't see whose number
Car number
it is.
5, Kevin Hansen, the leader at the moment. His 4.8 seconds ahead of the Acciona Science car. And this is a battle for third.
It is down. It's completely down now. So it was looking half down on the run through, and you're right, the rear left has completely deflated now. Arlen Kotlinski looked like she was really trying to hang on to it as she came up to waypoint 1, and now she's got Munnings all over her. Katie Munnings needs to get through here as soon as she possibly can.
Visibility again is an issue for her as she comes through, but over the jump she goes, Katie Munnings, and then Michaela Arlen Kotlinski. Kotlinski trying to limp this car back, and they're probably going to have to do a change of tyre in the pit stop in the switch zone.
Yeah, I would have. You're going to have to. If you're in P4 already, you will. We've seen a 10-second penalty for Andretti for a dropped flag at the bottom of your screen. Kevin Hansen on the handbrake twice. He's come in hot there, and the car's run wider than he wanted it to. I love the expressions on Kevin's face when he's in full concentration mode. He's going to come down now with a near 10-second lead, so he has pressed on there and taken some risks. And the idea for that is to give Molly Taylor as much breathing space as she can get, because she's going to be chased by 3 very quick drivers. Although Johan, they're going to have to change that wheel, aren't they?
Yeah, I think they can take themselves out of this race. Unfortunately for them, into the switch zone they come. But Veloce doing an amazing job out there, and they're leading the championship at the moment, so this will only increase their lead. They're leading by 5 points, Veloce to Sainz.
They've got the jack ready at RXR. The nut gun is in hand for the mechanic. Remember, only 2 people can go into the switch zone. Oh, look at the car. It's really crabbing as it comes in. Molly Taylor is almost ready to go. The door's shut. They're looking super chilled. Johan's going to go in. They wait until the car goes into neutral. He'll just get on with getting into the car. You can see the spare wheel here in just to the side is ready to go. So Michaela can take that in because only 3 people can go in the switch zone at one time. So the mechanic is already trying to get under a jack.
Look how
but it's in
down
a
on its
rut,
haunches
Jenny, too.
it is.
It's in a rut in the switch zone. They're actually allowed to use a rake in the switch zone, but look, that means it's harder to get the jack under. They have got it done.
Some brute force and determination goes a long way. So, second, there's another penalty out there. 10-second time penalty for car number 27, so that makes a 20-second time penalty for car number 27. They're in 3rd place at the moment, so it will be a good battle between RXR fitting their tyre and that penalty that they've got, that 20-second penalty, but out in front. Well, Molly Taylor is in that car, and you can see the gap. It's 8.6 seconds, and just behind her, catching her all the time.
So RXR got to get that wheel changed now, Jenny, and they've got to try and get within 20 of the car in front if they want to get on the podium. Look at them coming off to the side. Oh, they're struggling to get it on, struggling to lift the wheel into place. Got to line it up with those 5 lugs. Johan is looking up, just trying to shut the door, but
this is frustrating for them.
Yeah, Michaela's trying to get the spare wheel out. It doesn't matter. Leave it there. It doesn't matter. But we want to watch this gap out front. 8.5, as you said, Jenny. It is Fraser McConnell for Acciona Science, who's got to try and chase down Molly Taylor in front for Eon next. Veloce gone up to 8.9. So there we are. Now, they could have tried to struggle on round with that puncture, but the likelihood is you'll damage the car a bit more or potentially have a rim dig and rollover. So that's why they want to change it. They might be unaware, of course, of the 20 seconds worth of penalties for Munnings and Hansen. It's kind of a 2-car race at the back, but if RXR don't get out of the pits, Jenny, then that's going to do Andretti Autokila quite the favour.
So that's Fraser McConnell in the Acciona Science team trying to chase down the first car of Veloce and Molly Taylor, and they have the combined fastest sectors at the moment for the Continental Traction Challenge. Though if they can win this race, they will be the fastest out there, I'm assuming, at the moment. So they might get an extra 2 points as well.
Yeah, they could well do. Track conditions, I would argue, are still improving, but along with it drying up, you're getting more ruts. So we don't know what the ultimate pace is. Only the drivers will be able to give you the feedback as to whether or not it will be possible. RXR too far back. They've only just got the car out, so they're going to be a long, long way back. They'll finish this, and they might as well carry on. They changed the wheel before in the past, Jenny, and finished in P2.
Exactly.
It's got a whole nother lap to go here. Molly Taylor coming around. The gap is 5.6 seconds, 5.8. So McConnell is coming. McConnell has taken some 3 seconds off this. Taylor might have to get a little bit more of a wiggle on now. It's enough. If he's only taken 2.5, 3 off her in 1 lap, in theory, with 1 more lap, he won't get any closer.
Fraser McConnell's just set an amazing sector 4. He went at 32.4, which is the fastest time. So he's gaining and he's trying his hardest to push.
Look at those sector times, Jenny. He took 2 tenths in sector 2, 1.6 in sector 3, 2.2 in sector 4. So yeah, Continental Traction Challenge, Neil McLaren lead it. So they lead it. Great, so they might get the 2 points. That would be a nice extra birthday present for Matthias. Wouldn't he be pleased with that?
Exactly, and they were pushing all of the way. So maybe Great Ledbetter actually pushed them so fast that they improved their time.
Now bear in mind, some of the teams, so Hansen and Taylor have kept their Inoa hyperdrive. I think Fraz has just deployed his. It's down to 2.4. It's come down 2.3. Fraser McConnell is really closing in now on Molly Taylor. Molly, though, has that hyperdrive to try and stretch her legs and get away. This is a good place to use it if you're going to use it. Try and get a bit of extra speed up into the Continental Traction Challenge. Kevin Hansen looks on nervously as they come up through here.
Yeah, Taylor just holding on to that hyperdrive. She knows where she wants to deploy the Inoa hyperdrive. Right now, that's where she does it. So that gap is closing down, and I don't think that Inoa hyperdrive has really helped her too much.
No, I don't think that was necessarily the right place to use it. She's gone a bit sideways on the exit. Fraser McConnell is here now as they come into the last few corners of the final lap here in Scotland. McConnell looking left and right. He's setting the screen alight with fast sector times. The Acciona science machine is sprayed with mud. He looks one side, then the other. Molly Taylor is holding on here for a double win for Eon next Veloce. It started at 8.5 seconds. There's just a couple of tenths in it now as they come through the final 2 corners. Molly Taylor down the hill to complete a brilliant double at home for Eon next Veloce Racing. Fantastic for her and Kevin Hansen. Fraser McConnell so close behind. Him and Elias Sands almost got it done for Acciona Science. What a brilliant race between these 2 top teams. Go on, get in!
Just 0.65 seconds split them at the end. I mean, Fraser McConnell was going for it, but these are the people who are celebrating the most. Kevin Hansen celebrating. Look at what it means for Molly Taylor. Utter exhaustion, but utter joy as well.
Look at her, she's pulling on the handbrake. Kevin's all stoked, but there's like this relief as well as joy. Like, double win for them at their home, the team's home event, Jenny, and they're the first double winners this year.
They had such a margin, and it just went. It went through brilliant driving from Fraser McConnell. In 3rd place, crossing the line now, is the Andretti Tequila team with Timmy Hansen at the wheel. 20 seconds penalty for them for waypoint flags.
He looks pretty pleased with that, and they will hold on to that P3 because, as you can see here, Kristoffersen out in the RXR machine is too far back. Now, one thing I do wonder about, and another good reason to have changed that tyre, is the sector. Exactly. Jenny's just pointed at the screen. 39.0. Kristoffersen, that's the reason they bothered to change the tyre as well, was to try and have a crack at the Continental Traction Challenge, see if they can nick 2 points. So Kristoffersen's done a brilliant job. We need to check his accumulated time with Arlen Kotlinski. But if they cross the line for P4, might they have taken those bonus points in the process?
Great shout looking at that super sector. So this is the contact off the start that damaged the car, but I thought that was the front right. So if you look again, more contact there with the Andretti Tequila car, and that's what took the wheel off its rim. You can just see on board now. That was a rocky old start, wasn't it?
Yeah, but
tumbling all over the place.
Came around on the 2nd lap, as you saw across what I would, where you go across the front of the start, that rear left was almost up. You don't know if it's like a slow punch rather than a push off the rim. The problem is when the pressure gets down to a certain point, then it's really easy to push it off the rim. So if you do hold the tyre, which is incredibly unusual, these tyres are brilliant on the surfaces we have, but good job is just about all we caught of that. The smile tells you all you need to know.
Yes, girlfriend, you know it. Well, we hope it.
Fantastic.
Oh, England versus Spain. Out there on track, almost.
Well, it's 1-0 at the minute because Ion Veloce are a British team and Acciona Spines are a Spanish team.
Exactly.
But I don't think that's going to make any odds in a few hours' time. But some brilliant racing up here in Scotland. And I have to say, a fantastic performance from Taylor and Kevin Hansen. Kevin took a lot of risks on the first lap to try and get a gap. You saw Fraser take similar risks on the second lap, the second set of laps to try and close it down. But we spoke earlier, Jenny, about how one little mistake can make it tricky to get the win. And actually done a brilliant job there to get 2 in one weekend.
So in 4th place, R.04. Painfully slow, but they had that puncture, had to repair their tyre. 3rd place, Andretti or Tequila. 2nd, Acciona Science. And in 1st place, it's the Eon Next Veloce team. Hansen and Taylor win.
Great job by them to reach a double victory. But all our championship protagonists in the final again. I think the lead will have gone up slightly for Eon Next Veloce. We'll grab those championship positions and have a look in just a few moments. Celebration time. 2nd celebration in 2 days.
They know how it's done now. Are they going to climb on top of the car again?
Oh, look how pleased they are. It's a lot of effort. It's a lot of effort to get 1, to get 2 on the same weekend. Oh, do you know what? I'm trying to think. We have had it before. Yeah, R.04 have done it in Sardinia before. Let me look at previous seasons and let's see where else it's happened.
Oh, yeah, they're going up. Go on, you can do this.
You might have heard that. That's Australian for the steps a bit high. That's what it is.
Up they go, onto the Odyssey 21. Round of applause to everyone there. The paddock comes down and celebrates with everybody else. I'm very happy, Molly Taylor and Kevin Hansen.
That's only the 2nd time in the history of the series that a team has won both of the same races in the same weekend. R.04 did it in Sardinia in 2023. But a brilliant job by Ion Veloce to do it here in Scotland in 2024. And, of course, they took a win here last year with the Continental Traction Challenge. This is a very happy hunting ground for this team, and they're bouncing around on the left. Stoked, I think is the word, isn't it?
The Veloce team have done such a good job of doing motorsport. They really do it well.
That's fair.
And they're celebrating as they should.
Yeah, because it's a lot of hard work, as we said. You've heard the drivers all day long saying about how tricky the conditions were. It didn't all go their way today in qualifying Veloce. It wasn't as easy as yesterday when they had a double win and a really smooth road to the final. But, yeah, I have to say, to dial it in both days, to get the job done in the final on both days against this kind of class is fantastic.
There is a reason why Molly Taylor won the first championship in Extreme E. She loves it out there. It's her home. We've heard stories about how she got into racing, how she got into the sport, and it's in her DNA. It's in her blood, just like Kevin Hansen. I'm
looking at Continental Traction Challenge. We're having a little guess at it. R.04 were 0.5 off the top time, and Christopherson's previous best was a 40.0. He's done a 39.0 in this, so they'd have gone a second quicker, which would sneak them 0.5 ahead. But, of course, everybody else has also had the opportunity to go quicker in these slightly drier, smoother conditions. So they might not get those extra 2 points, not sure where they're headed, but they're going to be crucial because this fight is wide open.
Going into this, it was Neon McLaren that had the Continental Traction Challenge, so it all depends on where those points go. Big points, but at the moment, Veloce are out in front. No one can take that away. A double win, as Andrew Cody said. I'm very, very happy. This is the Andretti car out there, coping with a bit of bodywork damage, but bringing it home to 3rd.
So we're going to catch up with our P3 drivers, Timmy Hansen and Katie Munnings.
Timmy, Katie, congratulations. Another 3rd place for Andretti. Look, I know it's not the top step that you guys would have wanted, but Katie, just talk me through that after a pretty eventful race and a bit of contact.
Yeah, do you know what? We're really glad to be on the podium. It was a kind of impossible mission from our grid slot after grid play. So to be on the podium is like a massive win for us because we couldn't figure out how to get out first. I was actually in front. I had a huge contact from Michaela on the side in the first corner, which kind of put me back. And then we had some damage and I think the diff halfway through the second lap I thought it was a drive shaft at first. I thought it was game over. So I was just praying Timmy did a smooth drive and he did amazingly to bring it back and yeah, managed to be able to be on the podium again.
On the podium, Timmy, what does it mean to Andretti 2/3 here?
I mean, I wish we could have been fighting for that win today, but yeah, we were just too far back and had to nurse the car home. The Andretti car was flying today. I mean, we've had such a fast car, but a podium is a podium. It's been a hard-fought day, but we're going to celebrate.
Go and celebrate now. Thank you so much. Congratulations.
The celebrations will continue, I am sure, into the night. This is how they managed to get third place. Shame that they were limping that car home and the RXR had that slow puncture. It looks like you can see the RXR just down on its haunches on the rear left. Hard times for them. So let's go down to the podium again and here are second place finishers, Acciona Sainz.
I think this is going to be a bittersweet moment for you guys. Look, it is a podium, it's P2, you're up there in the standings as well. Fraz, I'm going to come to you. I can kind of see the emotion. You were very, very close to getting that win. Sum it up.
Yeah, no, 2 back-to-back second places with, just touching distance of victory. It's going to come again. We got a win this year already. But, one more corner, I think it would have been ours. So second place is burning again, but, still have to be so grateful. The team is more than deserving of this result, and so happy to be a part of it. Laya drove like a monster all weekend, so really, really happy to be here.
We're going to have to let you go to the podium. Sorry, Laya. We'll hear from you next time out. Well done. Congratulations, Acciona Sainz P2 once again.
Great teamwork there. Lovely to see Fraz so appreciative of Laya's performance. Yeah, she's been brilliant. We've been saying a lot recently, Jenny, that Laya is possibly our best improved female. She's right up there with the very best of them. Let's go catch up with our winners.
A Scottish hat-trick, 3 consecutive wins on this course. Molly, what is it about Scotland that makes this Veloce car, this team, this duo fly?
Yeah, I think it's the team. This is our home soil. It's where Eon's based. We have such a swell of support here cheering for us this weekend. Everyone's just left no stone unturned, and to come away with 2 wins out of 2 races is pretty mega.
Kevin, I mean, sum it up for us. What a brilliant race it was, and clean as well. Getting out there so important, is it, out front here?
Yeah, I mean, the start, I knew I had to risk it out there, and you can't really see anyone on the inside, but I trusted that it would work well. I left some space, and it worked out, and then I just tried to push as much as I could to give Molly a good lead, and she really put it out of the bag. So great driving all to the finish, covering up Fraz in the end. I mean, a hat-trick at home soil for the Eon X Veloce crew is just fantastic, and I think we really had some wings today.
Brilliant stuff. Go and enjoy the podium. Congratulations. Double winners here in Scotland.
Well done to Eon Next Veloce. Double winners, as they said. And what a performance they put on this weekend.
Yeah, brilliant drive by them, wasn't it? In a minute, we're going to be able to see who has nicked those extra 2 points for the Continental Traction Challenge. It's going to be tight at the top, isn't it? Say all 4 of the top championship teams. Acciona Sainz got it, look. So RXR improved by a second. We know Johan did. Michaela might have struggled with that puncture to go quicker, but 3 of those teams. So Neom, you said, had it, didn't you? By 200ths. Yeah. 200ths of a second. So that was set by Neil McLaren in the redemption race, and Acciona Sainz went 200ths quicker in the grand final. Wow.
And that's why she used her Enoa hyperdrive where she did. It all makes sense now. So this is the lead at the top of the championship. Eon Next Veloce, 87 points. Acciona Sainz, 78 points. Rosberg X Racing, 67. And Andretti Ultequila, 62 points.
Neil McLaren on 46. Legacy Motor Club are on 39. We've got Sun Mini Meal on 24, and down at the bottom at the minute, JBXC on 21. Let's hope for a change of fortunes for those bottom 2 teams. I think they deserve it, and I think we can see that they're quick enough to get it done. Podium's underway.
And our winning team, Eon Next Veloce Racing! to all our winners and their teams. Our dignitaries will now present the trophies. Robert Reed, FIA Deputy President for Sport, will now present the winning team trophy to Arnaud Scholli, Chief Engineer. Jim Henderson, Director at Nids District Salmon Fishery Board, and Harry Ellard, Head of Hospitality at Extreme E, will now present the third place trophies to Katie Munnings and Timmy Hansen of Andretti Altakilo. Ryan Redpath, Partnerships at Jackson Swiss Partners and former Scotland Rugby captain, will now present the second place trophies to Laia Sands and Fraser McConnell of Axioma Science XE team.
Trophies going out to our top 3 teams. The biggest ones, of course, heading up now to the top step of the podium. Double sets of double big trophies. Going to be tricky. They've got a flight home. You know, you got to get those. You got to get those in your hand luggage. I reckon they'll send one set home with the team to the office in the UK, and then take one home each to Australia and Sweden. What do you think?
Absolutely. I don't have a clue.
That's what you got to do, Jen. That's what you got to do.
I just want to see these celebrations.
Here we
Fraser
go.
going straight for the drink.
You ready? They got the timing right yesterday.
Oh, not
that's
quite.
Pretty good. I think yesterday's was closer.
Yeah, definitely. But what a celebration, what a result. And they can finally relax. The job is done. Eon next Veloce, their home race, and able to win and celebrate that win in style. Oh, look at Katie Munnings there with the Union flag just draped around her. Champagne and sweat, the perfect combination.
Katie trying there for one last go with the champagne, wasn't she? But I think most of it's gone. They can have a little drink today. Roger Griffiths from Andretti Altakilo.
It's not easy to drink champagne out of that bigger bottle, is it?
It's Luke Alfond, I think. It is.
So, rounds of applause and fist pumps as the bagpipe sets the scene in Scotland. And we say goodbye to another beautiful event in Dumfries and Galloway. The piper is piping and Veloce are celebrating.
Champagne getting shared around between the team. It's a great drive by them, and it started here. Look, dust off the line for them on the outside. They just got such great traction, cut across the entire pack and got the whole shot, and that was absolutely key to it. In the background, a bit of argy-bargy between R.04, who you're on board with here. That was the contact for them on the right. That would have been potentially with Axioma Science. Then they end up running out wide, and that affects Andretti Altakilo. So it just gave a little bit of an advantage to Eon Veloce to try and stretch their legs, and that's what Kevin did, of course, before he handed the car over. Absolutely.
Then it was Molly Taylor in the car for Veloce. You can see here the repair, how tricky it was for Michaela Arlen-Kotlinski to roll that wheel, and it was dug in, so there was very little option for them to do a clean one. But they tried and they did. And then this is how it was won. Fraser McConnell hunting down Molly Taylor, but Molly Taylor ended up victorious with Veloce.
What a brilliant weekend in Scotland. So now we turn our attention to Sardinia. You've got a little while to wait, but we're going to treat you to 2 weekends in a row in Sardinia. So it's a quadruple header. In between times, I'm pretty sure they're going to be testing that Extreme H car down there as well. We know that the island has given us some brilliant action over the years. I mean, for some of these teams, not the kind of action you want, but it should be good fun.
Yeah, bookmark the 14th and 15th of September, and then the 21st and 22nd of September. So you can have some holidays, then the kids can go back to school, and then we're back racing with Extreme E. And look, can you remember this? Matty Sekstrom going head over tail.
I think I could see myself heading out there, Jenny, to be honest. What do you reckon, 9 days in Sardinia? I'm up for it.
Yeah, because you love the sunshine.
I do. I wouldn't mind a bit of sunshine. Alongside some brilliant sport, that's what it's all about, I say. Some fantastic racing between our male and female competitors this weekend in Scotland. Laura Winter on site, thank you very much. Jenny Gow, what a brilliant weekend. I'm Andrew Coley, thank you for joining us. Jenny, it's been a good time, hasn't it?
It has, and Veloce have won out. They lead the championship, but the hunt is on. Who will be champion this year? We'll have to wait and see. Veloce have the upper hand as we stand. It's the Hydro X Prix in Scotland. And we're racing.
Hansen, push it in wide.